Hello, and thanks for tuning in. As always, this is Reverend JR, and I'm stuck on a road in Indiana right now. Indiana is not a fun state to drive through. It's really, really slow. The speed limits on the freeways here is like 55 miles per hour. I think it's like 80 kilometers an hour for you folks over the seas. Where I'm from, our highways are like 70 miles an hour, except in metropolitan areas where they're 65. There are sections of this highway I'm on here that are 45. The speed limit changes like every 2 miles. So I can't even use my cruise control in this state because of stop signs on the freeways. The state is incredibly flat and boring. People do not know how to drive here. Even worse, potentially, than the highway driving back in Ohio. I don't know about the city driving because I haven't really gone through many of those. But, that's what it is, I guess. It may look like I'm looking at the camera sometimes, but I'm not. I'm just always in the habit of scanning everything, even if all I'm doing is driving in a straight line. It's really boring out here. There's nothing to see. It's all flat. The roads are straight. And like right now, I'm on the freeway, and I'm stopping at a stoplight because a side road goes across. I don't know why. I don't appear to be in a town. There are cornfields and a couple buildings here. There's like a healthcare center right there, and a nursing home right there. There's not much here. So the alleys get a stoplight for the freeways. I'm on a U.S. highway, and I have to drive 45 miles an hour with stoplights every, what is that, maybe a mile? There is no way to go quickly through this state. I live almost on the other side of Ohio, 2/3 of the way, let's say 3/4. And it's quicker for me to get roughly 200 miles, 180 miles, 150 miles to the state border of Indiana than it is to go the extra 70 to 90 miles in Indiana. Also, these roads are all terrible over here. There's a funny sign. It says next level road improvements. But these roads are definitely not the next level. These roads... Whoops! It's a completely flat state. And somehow I lost cell service behind a tiny little hill. This state is a joke. I can't believe we're next door to it. There's nothing going on here. Nothing at all. This is just kind of ridiculous. I'm doing the speed limit here, and it's about 20 miles an hour slower than the U.S. highways in my state. And the roads are in worse condition. And the semis don't know how to stay in their lanes, and so on. There's less to look at. There's no skill required in driving here. It's really, really quite annoying. But anyway, this is part of the reason I'm probably not going to have a video tomorrow. Hopefully this doesn't look like potato with the cell network here. But you know, it might. Or whatever. Just cruising down the interstate at the apparent speed limit. Because that's what you do in America, I guess. This is why I never want to drive any further west than I have to. Because this state just isn't conducive to driving. Can't go anywhere. Can't do anything. But, you know. Let's get rid of that thing. Driving and streaming at the same time. Yes, I am. I'm trying not to pay too much attention to the camera, even though I'm basically alone on this road. Which is really weird, too. I just figured I'd get on here and monologue, because staring at this road and doing nothing is supremely boring. Yeah, it's pretty safe out here. The roads are flat. I don't even have to touch the steering wheel to stay in the lane. There is absolutely no skill required for driving in this state. And I think that's why everyone out here is such bad drivers. Like I said, it might look like I'm paying way too much attention to the camera, but I'm not really. I just constantly look around because I live in a state that this time of year has a bunch of deer. And I realize I'm near them, but I'm still paying attention for them. That's something you don't think about until you've been around it your whole life. One of these days I'm going to get a new dash camera again, I think. Maybe we'll take a road trip somewhere. Like I say, I know this ain't the most interesting video, but this may be the only video I get out this week because I got a bunch of stuff to do tomorrow. So if you got good questions for me, now would be the time to ask them. There's a radio tower. Not even 5 miles from where I just lost service. Completely flat and wide open. Because, you know, that makes sense. Job's going pretty good. Rock wants to know how I'm doing there. Yeah, basically the cable job's going fine. I'm slinging cable. I'm fixing people's cable. I'm bringing them internet and TV and all that good stuff. I haven't fallen off the pole yet. That's pretty good. I'm enjoying it pretty well. Got a raise at the beginning of the year. Working on my tech progressions. All that good stuff. So yeah, I can't complain too much. Job's going really well. I kind of enjoy it too. You get to climb poles. The weather's been pretty decent the last couple days, so that's good. Hey, there's a little pond over there. That's kind of neat. But yeah, just figured I'd at least get some kind of video up today. I can just sit here and ramble on about all sorts of things, I guess. A little ways back there was a sign, a billboard, that said, remember, it's freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. And I got to thinking about that a little bit, and I thought, you know, that's kind of silly in a way. Because, you know, as a minister for the Church of Atheism, basically that means that the, you know, people who put up that billboard also shouldn't be free from my religion that says theirs is not real. That says their God is not real. Kind of thing. Because they shouldn't be free from that. Right? I mean, it's just kind of a weird concept. It's like, how could you possibly have a freedom of religion if you can't be free from a religion? Is that to say that I should be allowed to impose it? I realize it comes from a Supreme Court ruling a little while back on how the separation of church and state works and that sort of thing. But it's like, geez, I don't understand how you justify it. How exactly would I be? Zalrock says that's good. Wow, freedom from religion is kind of a thing. They sound like authoritarians. Yeah, and it was one of the justices on the Supreme Court in a majority opinion on some thing that I've forgotten. I forget which case it was and all that. But, you know, it's also starting to rain now, so this, it might actually start sounding kind of neat. Probably what you hear right now. Is there any weird noise coming across at all? There shouldn't be. But I know my car is kind of weird sometimes with the electrical line. But yeah, you know. I thought it was kind of a weird sign. It's not the only one like it here. We've got some like that back in Ohio, but they're not quite so subtle. Like there's some of them that just come out and say, believe in Jesus or burn in hell. I seen a cross earlier that said, get right with God. But you know, I think if I was God, I would be very upset at people like putting up the things that killed me and saying those honor me. I mean, imagine if you took, what was it, King Henry. He had 2 wives that were deceased, I think, or beheaded, rather. And imagine, America's so religious despite being secular. It's weird. Yeah, it is. But imagine for a minute, you believe King Henry VIII, I guess, you know, divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived, I think is how it goes. And imagine you're one of the 2 wives that was beheaded, and you've amassed a following of people who like you and they want to remember you. And so they do so by erecting guillotines all over the place. Imagine if we wanted to celebrate the people who died in the World Trade Centers by putting airplanes up on their graves. I mean, we do it with Jesus. We put the thing up that killed him as a reminder for him, like, dying for us. But I have the oddest feeling like if we put AK-47s on the graves of all the kids that die in mass shootings, people just wouldn't see it the same way as a symbol of reverence for the people it killed. It's just a really weird thought process. I've always thought that kind of thing even since I was young and when I was religious even. It's really weird to have the crucifixes all over the place. So yeah, as Alrock says, it is weird. You know. I do kind of like rainy weather though. I can't complain too much.